Hello and welcome to the horror at Highrook. This is probably one of the most enjoyable games I've played recently, and if you'd like to check it out, there is a link in the description. This is a Lovecraftian, should we say, solo Dungeons and Dragons adventure that has occult themes, and it's very intriguing, and it makes you want to find out more and more and more about the story. So, add it to your Steam wishlist if you like it. It's made by one person. It is made by one person, so just bear that in mind. Alright, so we're going to start a new game here as well. Highrook, an aristocratic eyrie of cold rock and rain, a melancholy shadow overlooking the port at Black Sands. At the summit of its grey cliffs lies the crumbling edifice of Acheron House. The Acheron family, once respected by the city elite, the Acheron family fell from grace to become the subject of snide remarks and scornful whispers. Lord Acheron was a prominent book collector whose increasing interest in the occult saw him driven from respected academic practice. It is rumored he turned to the Seekers' Communion for support shortly before his family's enigmatic disappearance. The Seekers' Communion is a secretive organization of mystics, seers, and exiled scholars. This clandestine group supports occult practices across the city and facilitates a black market for arcane goods. Officially banned by Black Sands Council, the collective continues its work in the shadows. The vanishing of a noble house, however disfavored, cannot go unexamined by the council. The Black Sands mayor, Lord Alliston, has commissioned a cross-guild team to investigate. A dilapidated stagecoach deposits the party at Highrook. The rain echoes eerily through the empty halls. Yeah, so as you can quite clearly tell, this is also, as I said, it's Dungeons and Dragons, but it's also very much tabletop. You know, obviously, as I should have said more that it's a tabletop RPG, and it's more like a single-player tabletop RPG. And I personally find that very, very intriguing, and the way that this developer has handled the storytelling, very, very cool. I gotta say, very, very cool. We hide in the shadows of the world beyond, the adage of the Deep Spire Church. Bear in mind that the demo only has Chapter 1 available, but Chapter 1 is very, very cool. And for me personally, I have absolutely loved every second of playing this game. I actually got addicted to playing it, and I played it for about almost an hour, I think, and I didn't even realize that the time had gone. You know what I mean? It's one of those. Welcome to the Horror at Highrook, a card-crafting cosmic horror board game. You control a team of investigators and to examine the disappearance of a noble family from their ancestral home. To discover the family's fate, your team will have to overcome a wide range of challenges, combining their skills with special items in order to create new tools and escape dangerous threats. Highrook House is a place of mysteries, and you are encouraged to experiment in order to solve its puzzles. Try performing tasks with different combinations of cards, characters, and locations. There is rarely a penalty for failure. And if you reach a dead end, turn your attention elsewhere for a while and try something else. A small set of introductory tasks are listed to the bottom left to help you get started. You can close this window now and work things out as you play, or you can read the other sections listed to the left to learn more about the game systems. So I obviously don't need to look at any of this stuff, and hopefully I will be a good enough guide that you won't need to look at that stuff either. But who knows? Maybe I'm not. Anyway, we're just going to do a couple of things here. You can move the camera with the right mouse button, you can zoom in, and so on and so forth. We can also pause. It is very, very recommended to pause every single time you are thinking about doing a particular action, because you do not want the time to run away with you unnecessarily. So, let's read the council missive first. Anything that's highlighted, by the way, needs to be interacted with first, and this is a very important story objective thing that needs to be done immediately. Dear investigators, by order of the High Council, you are granted license to commandeer Highrook Manor and its associated facilities. You have been commissioned to investigate the disappearance of the Acheron family, the owners of the estate, who were reported missing several days ago. The Acherons were well known in the city, and their vanishing is concerning, especially considering a rumored affiliation with the Seekers' Communion. Please treat any evidence you might find as confidential and report immediately to the Council when your task is complete. A news report is included to provide further context on this unusual event. Lord Mayor Alliston. So that's obviously from him, and here we have one of our characters speaking now. I see Mayor Alliston is as conceited as always. His presumption that all city events require his involvement is so tiresome. I suspect that Bleakhurst has been involved more for political point scoring than out of respect for our knowledge. But perhaps I can track down the books that Acheron borrowed from us last year. Vitali sighs and rolls his eyes. Indeed, Vitali, I am equally tired of Alliston's petty machinations, but the High Council provides us with the bulk of our funding, and as such we are obliged to respond. At least they have provided us with some of our tools to begin our work. We should take this supply crate to the machine room where I can extract its contents. I don't much like Alliston either, but he pays well, and I certainly don't trust bookworms like this Acheron chap. Nothing but trouble in all those old tomes. Atticus shuffles impatiently. Let's find these upmarket fools and get out of here. Spoken like a true Aldworther, Vitali shakes his head dismissively. Don't worry, my friend, you will be away from the bookworms and back with the woodworms soon. Fewer insults, more action. Our remaining colleague, a doctor from Cairncross, will be joining us tomorrow. We should prepare for her arrival. Asta draws a mechanist key driver from her belt and approaches the crate. Alright, so as you can see, very, very different personalities. As you could no doubt tell from the introduction, this is a cross-guild grouping, basically. So every single one of these people is from a different organization, and they are obviously potentially at odds with each other as well, which is very, very interesting. They're going to have some very funny, very kind of tense interactions as well later on down the line. So as you can see, this is very much a table kind of thing. It's very much a tabletop right here. So you can see that there's a bunch of different rooms. Some rooms are locked, and these will be unlocked as time goes on and as you discover more and more about what you have to do and what kind of things you can discover. So for example, right here, we can read this gazette here as well. The Acheron family, one of the city's most notable houses, have disappeared under suspicious circumstances. A delivery boy from Direwich Market discovered the family's absence when he arrived at their Clifftop Manor a week ago. Entering the building, he found the property abandoned and in disarray, as if witness to a violent storm. The Acherons were nowhere to be found, and their servants, a maid and warden, were also missing. The High Council announced that it has commissioned a cross-guild team to investigate this disturbing disappearance. And so, as you can see, any single time you read something and you don't need it anymore, you can send it to your Records tab, and that immediately makes space on the game board, and you don't need to worry about that anymore. But if you do want to worry about it, you can immediately click Records up at the top right here, and you can find exactly what you have entered into it. Apart from that, you have the supply crate. And now the supply crate is very, very important because obviously it's going to provide us with the first steps of what we have to do in the game. So what do we need? Well, I'm gonna try to explain this as in the most succinct fashion as possible. The machine room, it requires devices as a skill, right? Every single character has 6 different skills. Some characters share the same skills. For example, Asta and Atticus they share victuals, right? Victuals and devices. So technically, Atticus could also go into the machine room and do that if he wanted to, right? So they both share that. They also share the paths skill as well. So technically, they could go to the cliff top and do some foraging and so on and so forth. So there's a number of characters that will share skills, but some will gain different results from the task itself. You're going to get to see exactly what I'm talking about as we go on here. But yeah, anyway, as you can see, I've now placed Asta in the machine room. I've placed her in the person slot, and I've placed the supply crate in the task slot. And so what we can now do is we can now start that task. It's going to take 2 hours, as far as I'm aware, two game time hours, and that's obviously going to be done at some point. Now, the council missive, obviously we've already read that, so I'm going to send that to the records as well to clear that up, and then we're going to have to wait for the task to be complete. And as you can see, there's a nice little tutorial that actually does come up because the game doesn't think that you're going to be pausing straight away, but I obviously did. You can read this if you so desire. You can pause the video and just read that if you want, but I've just kind of explained all of that anyway, kind of, so it's very, very sort of self-explanatory most of the time. So there we go, complete and in a timely fashion. Yes, indeed. Okay, so now we have 3 additional pieces of equipment, and these pieces are infinite. Okay, so basically what that means is they can be used over and over and over again, and they will not be consumed. This is not the case with a lot of other items in the game. Some items will be consumed upon use, and bear in mind that every single one of your characters is capable of getting tired. They are capable of going insane. They are capable of getting injured, as well as becoming hungry. And you are going to need to manage every single little bit of that. So, what do you need the night lamp for? Well, as you can quite clearly tell, you need to put it in the guest room over there, and then you can put people in the guest room and then they can sleep. So you can see here, the act of sleeping reduces the fatigue of all characters present in the room. It may also provide us with this or this inspiration. So technically, if you want to have every single person in the room and you can sleep all at the same time, you can technically do that if you want to. For me personally, I haven't found that to be necessary, but maybe it is actually kind of a good idea. I don't actually know. But the spyglass is also something that you can use in the cliff top. I'm going to be putting Atticus over there. And then the library codex, that's obviously going to be used in the archives here. And we're going to be doing that with Scholar Vitali. So we're going to just start these 2 tasks, and there is an equipment note. So you can see here that we have a spyglass, a high-quality binocular set from the workshops of Ashburg, intended for use in hunts or expeditions. You have a night lamp there, and you also have the library codex. Good luck in your investigations, from Quartermaster Lavinia. So we're going to send that to the records, and there is nothing else for us to do here, unfortunately. There's no point in me actually sleeping, as far as I can tell just yet. So all we're going to do is we're just going to let the time pass. You can speed things up, by the way. There is a time control of ×3, so boom, I've put it on ×3 now, and as you can see, every single thing is just zooming ahead very, very fast, and that is wonderful because now we have gained some significant increases in items. So we have this study code right here. What do we want to do with this? Well, look, we can perform a task with this card in the machine room. And so, boom, now Asta can do that. So she's going to start that. By the way, some cards, some tasks, they require more skill. And you're going to get to notice exactly why we have 2 support card slots right there. Because there are going to be certain tasks that require +3 in the skill. And every single character has 1. Just bear that in mind. So support cards are going to be very, very important. Apart from that, we also have a kitchen, and we can create moonshine. So I'm going to put Atticus over there. He's going to be starting to cook that. And then Scholar Vitali, he's going to be coming over here, and he's going to be eating this raven's cap. Now, the reason why he's going to be eating this raven's cap is because we want him to provide some study inspiration. Hopefully, it's going to provide him with some study inspiration, because those items are going to be very, very important later on down the line. So all we're going to do now is we're just going to let it run. Done. There we go. And there is the study. Unfortunately for me, Scholar Vitali has just become sick, and there is an air of nausea in the dining room. So I'm going to have to move him away once we have read Gideon's note. To whoever finds this note, do not follow my path. You will not find us. They have their threads in us, all of us. They pull, and we cannot resist. If you seek us out, you too will be lost. If I can, and before it's too late, I will close the doors, I will shatter the gates, and scatter the fragments. And I beseech you, do not follow. I have made such errors of judgment, such acts of vanity and greed, and for what? So that is indeed the father of the Acheron family, just so you know. This does not bode well. The first evidence of Lord Acheron we find, and it's a garbled, paranoid rant. Perhaps Gideon was trying to escape the Communion's grasp, or perhaps his occult obsessions really had driven him insane. Asta looks disturbed. I ain't no detective, but perhaps the Lord was up to no good, and this is him trying to cover his tracks. Atticus's brows knit together with suspicion. He could be trying to set up someone to take the blame for whatever happened to his family, or maybe he just went mad, sitting up here with all his weird books. Do not be so quick to judge. Lord Acheron was an accomplished academic. I don't think we can simply dismiss his writings as the babblings of a madman. I feel there is truth in his words, disturbing though they be. But it is too soon to say what this outburst really means. And there you go. All right, so there's Gideon's note. We'll add that to our records, of course. And now we've gained another piece of equipment, which is very, very important for us. Now, I'm going to move Vitali over here because we don't want him to be affected by the air of nausea. He can be affected by it, by the way. As you can see, he has already become injured. So you can see here, he's gained 1% injury, but that is obviously not that big of a problem. We will be unlocking the laboratory later on in the game, and the laboratory has the ability for you to concoct all kinds of potions. Amongst those, you're going to be getting healing potions, and you're going to be able to heal injuries and so on and so forth through that. So don't need to worry about it too much, but just bear in mind that these kinds of things can stack up quite quickly, so you do need to be a little bit careful about it. Anyway, let's move this. Oh yeah, by the way, this is indeed the main puzzle that you're going to be doing in Chapter 1, which is kind of a... it's kind of like well, it is literally a puzzle, basically. So you have to find all 9 of these, and you have to assemble them in a particular shape, and whatever shape you can figure out from it. So it's very cool. Let's just say that. I am someone that really, really loves these kinds of mysteries, so that's why I'm excited about it. Yes, indeed. Anyway, Atticus is the only one that can actually dig with the trowel in the courtyard, but he's currently cooking, so unfortunately I'm just going to have to continue with this. We're going to actually start the task in the archives over there. We can get Mechanist Astor to go and do the cliff top and do some foraging, and we got some moonshine here. It's not sophisticated, but it is effective. We can drink this to calm a fretful mind and quieten the whispers of the night. So we can perform a task with this card in the dining room. So that's if you really want to have someone drink. I'm not sure why you'd want to. For me personally, I've actually never found a use for the moonshine, to be honest. I'm sure there is a reason why it's really, really good, but for me personally, I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to move Atticus over here into the courtyard, and then they can all start doing their task at the same time. And it's going to be great. So let's see what we get. There we are. Nice. Every single thing right here, very, very useful. We have some catalytic powder. This can be used in the laboratory. Like I said before, the laboratory is going to be very useful for us. And then we also have the tracing charcoal. Tracing charcoal is a task support card. Same thing with the catalytic powder. This basically provides you with a +1 to the skill level of your characters. So for that particular thing, so for example, let's say for this is to increase your mystery skill, your mystery solving skill. And if you have, your character in there, and you have this in there, and you have another one, you're going to have +3, and then you're going to be able to do some really, really difficult skill checks. So very, very useful. We have this, okay, so these are basically just that. Okay, that's fine. Let's start these tasks once again. We have a Seeker's Letter here, which says, Dear Gideon, your efforts have been noticed. You are new to the communion, yet we already sense great potential in your practice. As discussed, we will aid you in your work and provide such guidance as we can. In return, you must follow that guidance and pledge yourself to our order. As you are aware, Highrook rests above the Black Sands undercoves, a network of subterranean smuggling routes and hidden chambers. An old Seeker's sanctuary still lies within those caves. Descend and locate this shrine if you can. We believe objects of great power still remain there, hidden in that gloom. The communion. Alright, so we already uncovered that as well. And we are just going to be doing more tasks in the same exact area. There isn't any real reason for us to do anything different, so we're just going to continue doing this. And the Echo of Nausea has now gone away, which is absolutely fantastic. We now have raw meat. We've got Simon's note as well. Simon is the son of the Acheron family, just so you know. We also have Mr. Mouse, which is a story about Mr. Mouse. Mr. Mouse lived in a house, not his house, but the house of a great king. Now, some people don't like mice in their homes, but the king was always asleep and dreaming, so Mr. Mouse was free to wander the house without fear. Most mornings, Mr. Mouse would climb up the curtains and look out of the windows, gazing across the ash-colored land to the river beyond. He knew that the river was the place where visitors would arrive, their feet making pretty patterns in the grey sand. He wanted to visit the river, but he was afraid that he would get lost on the way, so instead of venturing outside, he would explore the house and talk to its dreams. We're going to send that to the records there. That is actually a bit of foreshadowing as well, if you didn't know. That is a bit of foreshadowing about that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this guy here, this one here. There we go. We're going to be putting, making some raw meat because we are going to need some food sometime soon. And we'll put, actually wondering, what can we do with the dream leaf? Yeah, we need the laboratory, obviously. We need to make this in the kitchen as well. Let's start that task straight away. Do we need to decipher this? No. Okay, well, I'm going to read Simon's note. Yesterday, Pa made me get some weird necklace from the cave under the house. Down there, the tunnels get all twisted. It was scary. I think maybe smugglers left it for him. Pa said not to put it on, but it was shining when I dug it up like a red star. I wanted to wear it really bad, but it hurt when I did, like nettles all over. I took it off quick. It's in the chapel now, and Pa goes there at night and makes strange sounds, like he's crying. I worry he's putting it on and it's hurting him like it hurt me. I hate it. I want to throw it away, but Pa says no. He's grumpy. He shouted at me the other day for doing drawing in his study, so now I play outside. I don't mind. I like watching the birds, but it feels extra cold today. Okay, so basically they found an artifact, or he found an artifact down in the caves, by the looks of things. Some kind of occultist necklace or something along those lines. All right, so let's actually just see here. Yeah, we got memories here as well. So basically what we could do is we're gonna move Vitaly up here. We're gonna get Asta here, and we're gonna have to do a task with her in the archives, in my opinion. That's probably going to be a pretty good way to go. I think that's probably going to mean the most for us right now. Let's get the basic meal done. There we go. And then we can actually get the focus fern made as well. Let's do that. And here we have the puzzling journal. So this is where we actually now have the ability to use the study for the first time. And this is the reason why I moved Vitaly up there. I don't actually remember about the game that much, but I love the game, so generally it's it's very intuitive about what you have to do, and if you're even a little bit using your mind, using your brain a little bit, then you're going to realize what you have to do and so on, and it's going to be very natural, and that's great. That's good conveyance. I talk about conveyance a lot in conversations with people, and generally conveyance in this game is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, anyway, let's do this. There we go. We're going to study that. And we're going to do this with Asta as well. Now, we do have to keep an eye on our fatigue, because if our fatigue gets to around 80% or 70%, we start to become unwell. So it's probably not a good idea to have that happen, right? So yeah, we probably want to be a little bit careful with this. Owl tea, we're going to be putting that over there where the study is, and we got another piece of the puzzle. And we have a second Gideon's note. I have the Valhassa tear and the fragments to accompany it, but at what cost? My son brought more than just the relic back from the depths. He is afflicted with some unearthly wasting disease. The doctors from Cairncross could not help him, and he is now so frail that I fear he may not recover on his own. I hope to find some assistance for him via my work or from the Seekers. Perhaps the cure lies somewhere within the walls of Nibiru. In the meantime, I am sealing the chapel. Just as I have closed the laboratory, I don't want anyone else to stumble across my work and end up injured. All right. So, in other words, he's now telling us exactly what's going on, because apparently there is something called Nibiru that is causing, well, maybe he thinks that the answers are there. Anyway, we're going to be placing this down here. I have no idea what the symbol is. I mean, I know what the symbol is, obviously, because I've actually completed about 90% of it, but the fact is, I'm not going to know with just these two. So yeah, anyway, let's see. What else can I do here? We have the basic meal. Let's do the dream. No, we can't do the dream leaf yet. We can't do that yet either. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Let's do a little bit of this. Let's start that task. Start this task, and we should probably put Vitali over into the guest room, and he can have a little bit of a snooze. You know, he can just snooze it off real quick. And no doubt we're going to need to snooze some other people soon as well. There we go. We got a booster matrix. This is good for the machine room. Gift of the monkey is also good for the machine room. And we have raw meat once again, so we can actually get some people in there. We have that as well. Okay. Let's see, who's the most... Okay, Asta needs to go and have a snooze first, so let's do that. Then we'll do this, do that, get Vitali in the archives, and then we'll get Atticus to go and cook something. Just to make sure that we have that available when we need it. It's going to be very important. There we go. We got another puzzling journal. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. And we also got Gift of the Snake. Gift of the Snake is not going to be useful at all yet because the chapel is not yet available to us, but that is definitely going to be useful at some point. Okay, so Atticus is definitely going to be the one to go over into here. She can actually cook something. Yes, she can. She can cook stuff. Unfortunately, there isn't anything that we can really do, so we won't be able to do that, but I think she can study? Yes. She actually has the... No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that because we're going to be using one of the bonus cards and we don't want to do that. So we'll put Vitali up there and we'll put her down here. We could potentially have her do some foraging in the cliff top, or we could have her do the archives again. The question is, do we want that? Let's start the task for Atticus there. Start this task for her and start this task for him. There we go. All right, that's going to be pretty nice. There's an echo up there. That's really bad. Our madness is going to be going up really, really quickly while he's in there, unfortunately. Yeah, 5%. Okay, let's move him down here. And I think... Oh, we got another cryptic journal. That's hilarious. Okay, yeah, we're getting so many really, really cool things here. Okay, so we got Gideon's note once again. The dream leaf potions are working. I took another one last night at bedtime, and in my slumber I saw it, a relic of Valhassa, a glowing shard of light, an ancient pendant buried in a deep chamber of the undercoves, just as the Seekers said. I sent Simon down to find it. My old eyes are worse than his, and he loves to explore the caves. He is nimble, and the Ictis sleep even lower than the Seekers' caves, so I knew he would be safe. Following the outline of my dream, he found the pendant, returning it proudly to me, his eyes bright with excitement. I hope one day to show him the wonders he helped bring forth, but for now, just a few more fragments and I can complete the first steps of my journey. Oh yeah, that's not particularly good, is it? Yeah, he's getting himself involved in some stuff. Oh yes, but we got another third piece. We got a third piece of that, and no one's going to be going into the study right now because otherwise we're going to get some madness going on. And so we're just going to put Aster over here. She could start this task. He can start this one. Atticus is now absolutely fine with his fatigue, of course. And so we should probably put him... We should probably put him in the courtyard, shouldn't we? Yep, we should probably put him in the courtyard because he's the only one that can actually do that. Alright, so they're obviously going to be doing that, and we probably need to start eating sometime soon. I mean, their hunger is only at 20%, so maybe we don't even need to worry about that. Ah, there she is. Okay, so we've now finally reached day 2, and this enables a visit from the Doctor, Dr. Callagher, who is our last member, the last member of our squad right here. Apologies for my late arrival. I had to visit a patient in Direwich yesterday. The fellow had developed Calxen's compliance, bones like rubber. Most intriguing. Dr. Callagher's fingers lace and unlace. Coincidentally, my guild was summoned here recently to tend to the Acheron's son. He was suffering from an unusual infection. Unfortunately, my colleagues were unable to diagnose the cause. Dr. Callagher, your late arrival is of no matter. We have barely unpacked our own equipment. The mansion is somewhat disturbed, and various chambers are inaccessible, sealed with mechanist locks. I believe that one of these locations might house a simple laboratory that you could make use of when we gain access. Ah, I suspected as much. My colleagues sensed foul play when they visited here before. Lord Acheron was adamant that our team should not investigate without his supervision. Luckily, a junior analyst had the foresight to retain the laboratory code. We should be able to gain access using the copy I have here. Very smart, Miss Callagher, but it don't surprise me. You were as sharp as a blade when you were fixing up me and me crew from Keel Fever last spring. Saved us from a right wrecking, you might say. Atticus seems almost coy. I owe you one. If you need any alchemy supplies or help with shifting stuff, just let me know. Alright, there you go. So we now have an insane amount of stuff to look at and to do. So we have Raven's Cap, which is going to be very important for us to eat. Someone can eat that. I don't know who. I should probably have Aster eat it, I guess. I don't know. She's not going to be doing anything right now, so we can have her do that. Vitalia is going to go up here and complete the Cryptic Journal. As you can see, this is going to require 2 in the Mystery skill, which is inherently going to now mean that tracing charcoal is going to be used up. And that's the reason why Raven's Cap is very, very important, because you can get, if you're lucky, you can get inspired or gain inspiration, and some of that inspiration can potentially be a mystery increasing item or a substance increasing item, dependent on, how lucky you get. Anyway, we have devices here. Atticus can do the device, because Aster is obviously eating the Raven's Cap right now. And Callagher, she's actually pretty good at a lot of different stuff. She's good at roots as well, so technically she could do this. The rusted box needs to go over there. Yeah, okay, so the lab code is going to be done relatively quickly. As you can see, it's only going to take 1 hour or so, and everything else is going to be quite fast too. So let's just let it run. There it is. Nice. Laboratory is now uncovered, as you can see. And we also have a second note from Simon. I am getting sick. Must have got a cold from the caves, and the hurt from the necklace is still there. I'm writing this sitting in the medicine room. I'm waiting for Amy to make me a special sleepy drink. I really do not like being sick. Maybe the bell has put a curse on me. I'd throw it off the cliff if I could. Pa do not seem to care. He is still singing his sad songs and doing his big chalk drawings. I can hear him in the chapel from my room sometimes. I hope he doesn't get sick too. Anyway, Amy says it's best not to talk to him about it at the moment. She says he's been all quiet and strange of late. He's not like his normal self. And strange was crossed out, as you can see right there. I love those kinds of little details. Alright. This note confirms what I already suspected. Simon's illness was some form of otherworldly malady contracted when his father involved the boy in his occult research. Dr. Caligar adjusts her mask and begins to pace around the room. No wonder my colleagues couldn't identify the cause of the problem. I only wish I'd been there to examine him. His description of the ailment and the pain is most intriguing. The poor mite, his father is nothing but a coward, sending his son into the undercoast because he daren't go there himself. Meddling in the dark arts is stupid enough, but including kids in such danger is unforgivable. And yet he'd look down at us docks folk if he passed us in the street. Pah! Atticus, it is not our role to judge Lord Acheron's morals, simply to follow his trail. Vitali opens his arms in an appeal for calm. But we can agree that the son's illness was related to his father's work. We should try to find this bell. I would like to know how it is involved in the Seeker's plans. And so there we go. We can now add that to the records. The library codex is over here. Chemical worksheet can go here now because this is indeed a substance task increasing card. We can do the dream leaf over here. Caligar can go over here to do this task now as well, because we can now start using the laboratory, and the rusted box can also be done. Unfortunately, we don't have enough. Wow, we need an additional skill. Wow, that's actually kind of crazy. I did not realize that. Okay, that's going to be kind of incredible, huh? Okay, I guess we're gonna need something from that then. Yeah, this did not give me any hunger reducing things. So we're just gonna have Asta eat a basic meal now. And look at this. We've got additional stuff. Oh yeah. We got a Seeker's letter, a second one. Dear Gideon, the fragments of lore you are compiling are symbolic shards, scraps of shattered knowledge. They may seem incomprehensible in isolation, but gather them all and absorb their lessons. Only then, when you assemble the whole, will a new rite be formed. The opening eye, the ashen hammer, the crimson chalice, the fallen sky, each incantation opens the mind to deeper power and knowledge. Persist, brother. You are close to communing with the first circle of Nibiru. Once the eye has been opened, you will truly begin to see the glory that awaits. The communion. And then we also have Gideon's note here. Simon's illness is worsening. The communion tells me that the only cure lies in pressing onwards, but I have already unleashed things I never wanted to see. This morning, the spawn of the first circle came again, writhing putrid grubs, spilling out of the cracks in the boards. I do not know how to appease them, and I am so tired. Things are becoming untethered. In my fatigue, I have mislaid the Valhassatir, or it has mislaid itself. I must begin to hide the tools and ritual fragments. I cannot have my family fall prey to their effects again. Ooh, yeah, so he's losing it. He's absolutely losing it right there. Okay, so send to records. We also got this. And there you go. Look at this. Look at this. It's looking pretty good right now, right? Yeah, it's looking pretty good. We just need a whole bunch of extras to make it be, fully complete. Okay, so let's have a look. How's our fatigue doing? Fatigue's okay. There's another echo in the archives. We don't need to worry about that right now. Yeah, we can't open the rusted box yet, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll get kind of lucky as time goes on. Yeah, let's just complete these two things. Asta is now fine, and there's a dream draft. Dream Draft, a tonic frowned upon by the dispensaries of Cane Cross Yard. It is said to be a powerful soporific, and one that elicits wild dreams. Caligar studies the bottle, swirling the contents around as if to incite some response. Lord Acheron grew this plant for a reason. If we were to use it in place of the night lamp before sleep, we might find out why. Yeah, so in other words, it is a way for you to gain additional knowledge. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to be placing that over here, the night lamp over there. Vitali can go over there and have a little bit of a snooze. And we can then take this over here, start that task before the oil bud goes bad, because it might very well go bad. And then we can put Atticus over there and just make some additional food. The moon grain can just go down there, and that's absolutely fine. There we go. Now we can just play it. Let's see what happens with the dream draft. There we go. We also have the focus fern down here as well. This needs to be made in the kitchen, so let's do that too. Let's start that task. And we have the dream of a monocle. The hunched shoulders of a tall but crooked man loom over a blinking console somewhere in the machine room. He pokes and prods, turning dials and tapping gauges. An open journal rests on the dirty counter, the intricate symbols on its pages smudged by his fingers as he traces their equations. He grunts and plucks a shiny lens from beneath his furrowed brow, placing it on top of the book. After staring into the dust-filled air, the man rises stiffly from the machine, abandoning the book and monocle. He stumbles from the room, and you awake, the sound of calculating engines still humming in your ears. And so this is indeed a task focus that we can complete in the machine room. So this is indeed something for the mechanist, and we can do that immediately. As you can see, we are going to be using the booster matrix to be able to do that, but we don't have enough for the rusted box anyway, so I guess that's fine, right? There we go, nice. And look at what we just got. We got Irving's eyepiece, and this is an infinite use task support item, and this can be upgraded in the forge room. Unfortunately, we don't have the forge room available right now, but it is upgradable, just so you know. And there is also a cryptic journal here too, so we could put that up there in the study. Anyway, that is actually going to be it for this episode. I want to play more. I certainly do, because I absolutely love this game. I think it is extremely, extremely cool, very fun, well written, extremely intriguing. And if you want to check it out for yourself, there is a link in the description. If you want to see more from me and this game, then you know what to do. You know what to do. There's a link in the description. Add it to your Steam wishlist. Do all that wonderful stuff. Maybe play the demo if you want to as well. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.